Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction and welcome to the start of a reading vlog. So, I'm in a reading slump. I started 2 books earlier this week and I ended up DNFing both of them. So the first one was Flames of Chaos, which is a fantasy, I think it's more like a romance fantasy, but I just could not get into the writing style. The best way I can describe it is if you guys have read Throne of Glass, Celaena Sardothien. Imagine if Celaena Sardothien was way over sexualized and she dropped the F-bomb like every 5 seconds. It was a lot of vulgar language, a lot. It was a lot. And I couldn't get into it. I'm going to link in the description. There's a Goodreads review that is just perfect. And I was like laughing out loud while I was reading it. She does such a good job explaining. So I will link that in the description. But yeah, I couldn't get into it. And then the other one I started was Girl A by Abigail Dean. I believe this is a debut, but I'm not positive. And I got this from Book of the Month, and it sounded like something I would really like. It did sound a little depressing. I know it's this girl and her siblings are raised in this very abusive family. She's able to escape, and like years go by, and the house that they grew up in, I think, is like up for sale or something. So all the siblings like go back to the house. And this also was writing style and also pacing. It is very slow paced. I just couldn't get into it. I might pick it back up. There's also a lot of jumping timelines that weren't happening every chapter. It seemed to be happening every like few paragraphs. I don't know. And it was very jarring. I wasn't a fan of the writing style. I think maybe if I'm in the right mood, I might try picking this back up. But for now, not a huge fan. So I decided I'm going to pick up books by authors that I know I absolutely love. And typically when I'm in a reading slump, I kind of gravitate towards YA and romance fantasy or just epic fantasy, and I'm going to try something different. So I'm going to read Beartown by Fredrik Backman, and I love Fredrik Backman. The first book I read by him was Anxious People, and it was so good. And I've read a few other books by him, and I'm very excited to check out Beartown. I've been wanting to read it for a while. It's about this community that's pretty much obsessed with hockey. Like the entire town, that's like really, they just love hockey. And I believe a girl, trigger warning for sexual abuse. I believe a girl is either raped by a member of the hockey team or a coach, and it's how the town kind of like deals with that, I think. Like I said, I briefly read the synopsis. The other book I'm going to read is The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah. So I've read other books by this author as well that I loved. However, they were really emotional. So I'm ready to cry when I read this, but I'm still very excited to read it. I know it's going to be good. So they're 2 authors I trust. I'm excited to read both of them. So yeah, and I'm sorry if you came to this vlog expecting YA fantasy, because that's typically what I read, but we're going to try something different. So I will check in with you guys a little bit later after I've read a little bit of each book.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life.
Hi guys, so I want to talk about Beartown. I am on chapter 23 and I'm loving it so much so far. It is very character driven. So it's Backman. I was kind of expecting it to be very character driven. He writes amazing characters, and the first 20 chapters or so was really just developing these characters and making them all very distinct and unique. There is a decent amount of characters in this, but I'm really able to tell them all apart because Backman does such a good job describing all the characters and kind of setting up the stage for what's about to happen. So really good job with that. As far as the town as a whole, like I said, obsessed with hockey, but more so than I thought. So the town almost they're hoping that the junior hockey team is going to be able to create income and really kind of help the economy. So the players are almost treated as like professionals, almost like it's a job to them. So there's a lot of pressure on these players, and these are 17-year-old kids. So you almost feel kind of bad for them, and you get to know a lot of their parents and their dynamic as a team. And it's very interesting so far. Like I said, I am around chapter 23. The assault just occurred, and tough to read. I am interested to see what happened. I can guess as to what's going to happen a little bit. I think they did a good job laying down the groundwork for how some people are going to react. I think it's going to make me really, really annoyed, but we will see. I think this book is going to both depress me, frustrate me, and also like it's going to be a really good read. So I don't know. We'll see. I was going to start The Four Winds yesterday as well. However, I think I want to finish this book. I think I really just want to like focus on Beartown, and then after I finish it, I'll switch. Sometimes I can read 2 books at a time. Typically they have to be different genres though. And considering I think these are going to be kind of similar, I don't want to risk it. So yeah, but definitely I'm really liking Beartown so far, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And also, I want to talk to you guys about this shirt that I'm very excited about. This is not sponsored in any way. I was just super happy I got it, and it got stuck in the mail. It was shipping for like forever. So just to give you guys like an idea, I live in Jersey. For some reason, this went from Florida to California and then back over to Jersey. So it took a really long time to get here, but I really like it. So I'll leave a link down below if you guys are interested. It's from Inkwell, I believe, but it's a Bridgerton shirt, and I love Bridgerton, and it has all the Bridgerton children on it. So yeah, definitely really like it. But anyway, I will check in with you guys after I've read or finished Beartown. I have a feeling I'm probably going to finish it within the next day or 2. So we'll see. All right, so I just finished Beartown. It was phenomenal. It was so good, and I had no idea going into this just how heavy and deep this book was gonna be. Like, I was sobbing after I finished it. It was so good. I think when I left off on vlogging, I was saying I wasn't sure how some of the town was gonna react to the assault. And I said that I felt like I was probably gonna get very frustrated about some of the characters, and I was right. I wanted to jump into the book and just scream at some of the characters and what they were saying. But yet, like I said, like the groundwork was like laid out so well. Like I knew that's how they were gonna react. And it was just so good. And like the ending, there was like a very shocking beginning to this book that I honestly forgot about. And then when we get to the end, I was like, oh my gosh. Like it was so good. It was so good. Please read this book. Like amazing. And I didn't realize that it's a series or a duology. So there's another book that's come out that's set, it's also in Beartown, and I don't know if I want to read it because I just feel like Beartown ended so well. It was such a good ending, and it could very easily be a standalone. I'm not really sure why there's a second book. Like, I'm sure it's good. I just don't want to read the second book and then not love it as much and it like bring the whole series down, if that makes sense. I also shouldn't judge a book I haven't read yet, but I don't know. So if any of you out there have read the second book and you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments. I don't know if I should pick it up or not. But I did start The Four Winds last night, and I'm about 100 and so pages into it. And I don't think it's about what I thought it was about. So the story, I pretty much thought it was about this woman whose family like really doesn't like her, and she ends up being forced into a marriage with a man, and it's their life, and like it's kind of how like they probably fall in love or whatever. And that all takes place in the first like 3 chapters, and then I was like, oh, so there's like a lot more of this book. And it's not. I mean, that is what it's about, but there's like a lot more than that. So anyway, I'm enjoying it. The pacing is a little bit slow. Beartown also had slow pacing though, so like not the end of the world. We're just developing the characters, which is fine, developing like the setting and everything, which Kristin Hannah does a really good job of. Like she does a really good job of like setting and like the world as a whole, but we will see. I'm sure I'm gonna love it. I love everything she writes, so, or everything I've read that she's written, I've enjoyed. So anyway, I'm gonna read some more of that. I desperately need to reorganize my bookshelves. I watched a review video I did and I'm like, oh my God, it's just like piles of books in the background. So I'm gonna do that today. It's Saturday, it's like 12 in the afternoon and I have nothing else to do. So quarantine life, I'm gonna get that done and then I will check with you guys a little bit later. All right, so it looks a little better than it did. At the top, I have the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Maniscalco, Cinderella is Dead, and Wings of Ebony. Then going down are my all-time favorite books, Brandon Sanderson's Warbreaker, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith, also Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, and then the ACOTAR series by Sarah J. Maas. That is a coloring book, not in English. I just couldn't find the English copy anywhere. Then going down, we have the Sarah J. Maas shelf, which is just A Court of Silver Flames. I have a special edition of ACOTAR in the back. And then Crescent City and the ACOTAR series. And then down here, honestly, it's just a random grouping of hardcovers. I had no idea how else to sort them. There's a little bit of a color order, but that's about it. And then down here are all of my paperbacks that I've already read. So there you go. Then up here, I have all of my Book of the Month books. Down here, some of my other favorite books that I read last year. This is just, I don't know, just random black books with a cool figurine on top, honestly. Then the Tog series. Then I have books mostly by independent publishers that I really enjoyed, mostly fantasy romance. Down here, some more Jennifer L. Armentrout books, a few other books. I actually don't love the Cruel Prince series. I might end up unhauling that book. And that's pretty much it. It's not great, but it looks a little bit better than it did. Oh, and there's Hodor. So yeah, that's my bookshelf. All right, guys, I have officially finished The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah. Oh my gosh. So this book was a lot more depressing than I thought. It was very slow paced, but I actually really enjoyed it. I don't think she can write a bad book. Like it was so good. And it was really about a time period that I wasn't super familiar with. And having finished reading this, I've actually looked up a little bit more about the Dust Bowl. And really the story, I think when I left off on the vlog, I was kind of confused as like where the story was going. But the story really follows our main character as she's trying to raise her family during the Dust Bowl, and they eventually move to California to find work, and it's just a terrible time, pretty much. I don't want to give too much away, but it was so good, and very moving. It's depressing, so if you're looking for an uplifting read, this really isn't it, and the ending really came as a shock to me. However, I did enjoy it. But yeah, overall, I had a great reading week. Both of these books were amazing. Reading Slump officially over. Beartown, I actually was listening to it on audiobook format, and I ordered this copy off of thriftbooks.com, not realizing it was a library copy, but it's fine. I really just wanted it because sometimes if I talk about a book I really like, I want to give it to a friend, and it's nice just to have a copy to like lend out. But yeah, so I enjoyed both books so much. I could not recommend either of them anymore. Definitely check out both of them. And I think that's how I'm going to wrap up this video. So anyway, if you guys don't know yet, I post new videos every Tuesday and Sunday. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys next week. Bye.